Well, I really screwed up here. I bought a little, of course, Harbor Freight, cheap shit. Bought a 2-pound spool of the 023 wire for a project I'm going to be working on. And without thinking, to double check the spool size, the spindle size, of course, that little spool ain't going to fit on there unless I make another spindle that can go in place of this one. So what I need to do, is find a piece of material that I can bore out and turn down to fit this ID and that stud with the same approximate depth as where the tensioning spring rides on there, so that this little 2-pound spool, cheap Harbor Freight shit, yeah I know, will work. Okay, after some digging around, I couldn't find anything that was even reasonably close to that size in round stock that was small enough to fit that stud. But I did have this little hunk of UHMW, so I figure I can chuck it up in the lathe and turn down the OD, or turn an OD on this to fit there, and then bore it out where it'll slide on that stud. So that's what's going to be happening next. Okay, so since this thing has a recess in it for the tensioner, and it seems to be a little bit just a little bit deeper. Well, I'll tell you what, this thing is about 2.8 inches approximately, and we know that rides against the wall, so we'll just put that there and run my handy dandy cheater depth gauge. So if this is greater than 2.8, I need to, oh yeah, 2.61 something. Okay, so that's 1.8. I can't even read my own calipers. Guess that's what I get for trying to read it through a camera. Anyway, so I guess I need to make that little stub that much shorter. Because that's the wheel, that's just over 2 inches. That's where the 10-pound or 5-pound spool rides. So I think I'll make a shoulder on there. Yeah, let's call that's about 0.4, so let's make a 1/2 inch shoulder for this to ride against. And then just, what did I say that was, 1.8, so we'll make from the shoulder 1.75, so it sits just inside here, and the spring will tension on the spool itself, since this is what keeps the MIG spools from turning. Sounds like a plan, maybe. Well, we'll find out. Okay, more quick measurements and calculations. This stuff is about 3/4 of an inch thick by, say 0.94, whatever, somewhere about 925 on average by 3/4, and the diameter of this is 0.655 approximately. So we'll turn this down to 0.65, and on the 3/4, that'll give us a full 1/10, 50 thou on either side. But the width, that should give us plenty to support on that ring. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this down so I can put it in the forejaw and turn the overall dimensions, and then just cut off, flip it around and face it to the right size. So I'm going to cut it off right about there. Okay, I found a 3/8 bolt, which is the size of that stud that the spool rides on the welder. So I'll bore the ID after I get it all squared up and everything, and this should fit smoothly down through it, hopefully. We'll see. Well, I'm not Keith Finner or John Mills with Turbo Boost, or even Doug at SV Seeker, but I won't bore you with watching me square this up, but I will go through a few of the steps as I get it set up. I've got it in there a little shorter, or a little further than that step is. I'll face it off smooth and drill it for the live center to help hopefully keep it semi-rigid while I turn down the OD. And then I'll hopefully be able to flip it around, center it up again, turn the step, and maybe even part it off. We'll see. Anyway, and a little bit of facing off the end. And that don't look half bad. At least it's mostly square. So there, you saw me doing some turning. Well, one thing I've learned about turning with live center is sometimes it can be a challenge to make sure the carriage can get back far enough and still get the right angle to wind it in without crashing on the live center or the tailstock. So I've got it crashed all the way back, and I can get it in there almost all the way down, but I'm not going to get down that far. I'm just going to get barely close enough to clean that up for right now. So I'll be back in a minute. One nice thing about UHMW is that as long as you use a slow feed, you can run it at what I would consider a ridiculously high RPM, especially with the mass of this head on this little toy lathe. But let me crank it up and let you watch one pass. One full crank, that's 40 thousandths per side. never try running aluminum this fast on this little lathe. Little fuzzies. So I'm going to get that a lot closer to the idea of that before I show you any more. Well, I think I got that a nice fit. I will trim that off, but that's a good starting spot. So now I'm going to spin it around, check it up, center it, and what did I say, 1/2 inch shoulder. I guess part it off there and then run a drill bit through it, and hopefully it'll all come out square. Well, I'm probably about to screw up big time, because what I'm planning on doing, I got a 3/8 drill bit on there, and I'm just going to push it on through, and I'm hoping that it will, because I'm compressing the OD in that forejaw, that by the time that gets all the way through, it'll open up to a clearance. I may have to come back and chase this little bit, but I'm gonna give it a whack, see what happens. So let's see how sharp my drill bit is, and you can watch me totally screw this thing up. And I am at full extension on that. So I get to pull it out, run it in there deeper, and see if I can't fish it the rest of the way. Just a little bit more. There we go. And back it out just a little bit. Spin it up to speed. And I think I pushed all the way through. back. Gear up a little bit and slide it out. One 3/8 bolt probably won't go through. Ow, that's warm. Don't touch the drill bit. And it slid right on through, so I think I might be semi-successful. Now all I got to do is pull it out and cut it off just shy of the spool. So I'm going to do it something like that. Where's me a marker? I don't have a marker. Will pencil work? Probably not. Let's see. Nope, not really. So I got to take off about 480, let's call it half an inch. And we ought to be in business. And there you go, it's shy. And yeah, I just saw cut it, so, because it was going to be recessed anyway. So I hope that works. Let's go take a look. Alrighty, we're back at the welder, so let's see if I've been successful or just made an absolute fool of myself. Well, looks like I may have made a fool of myself. You're threading on pretty nicely, but you're not clearing the hole. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I'll have to chase this a little bit with the next size up. So, I'll be back. Alright, so I popped it in the vise and chased it with a 25/64, and look at that. Pretty as you please. Make sure the wire's going the right direction. Slip that on there, slip that on there. We get our spacer screw, or washer, spacer screw, spring, another washer, and lock nut, and run it down until we got some tension so it don't just unspool instantly and create a bird's nest. A little bit more. Yeah, it's got a nice bit of drag to it. Well, we'll give it a shot. And now for the ultimate crap. I can't even think right now, it's so late. I'm so tired. The ultimate test. Good grief. This is 023 wire, and I only have this one drive wheel, and I'm starting a bird's nest already. How about that? So I am hoping that it will deal with the 023 wire without too much of a problem. Come on. There we go. Let's shove a little bit extra down in there. Close that. Put a little tension on the spring. Okay. Don't have any drag that, or it feels like it may have worked. So let's run. Hey, it's Pulling. Let's see. Hey, we got wire. I'll call that a success, guys. Thanks for watching.